Little reminder, folks, you'll be getting one of these every couple of days until they go off sale again. But little reminder that the home shirts are still on sale as this video is released, and they are on sale for the last time ever. If you want to order a home replica shirt, we've got the home one that's green, not black, the away one that's pink, not red, and the third choice one, which we always seem to wear as an away kit. They're all available. They're all available at gumroad.com/LOLLUJO, but you must order by September the 14th, 2019. After that date, they will never, ever, ever be available again. And you might want to order one size bigger than you normally would. They're a little snug, but got to order now if you want one. Never again. Seriously, never again this time. Hello and welcome to part 203 of It's Coming Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have a Premier League game at home against Chelsea and we're away against Fenerbahce in the Champions League. Since you were last with me, form has been good. Again, apart from a typical bit of Champions League hangover when we went to Leicester, really laboured to a draw. Did manage to grab the draw in the end, but it was tough going. Less tough going against Wolves after the Fenerbahce game, probably because Fenerbahce was such an easy game, 7-0 at home. Thor got a hat-trick, Goff got 2. They were both outstanding. They're both in the form of their lives. And reassuringly, Carlos Augusto now has his first goal for the club as well, which he got against Wolves. So we've got another striker starting to score goals, which is just as well because Ben Young is out until after Christmas because he got an injury, which really has made way for Augusto to be part of the matchday squad all of the time. Now, I talked about players in the form of their lives. Let's just have a look at our star men from this season. Thor, currently 8 goals from 9 games in the Premier League. That's 8 goals from 7 starts in the Premier League. 11 goals from 10 starts in all competitions, averaging a 7.77, the best form of his life. And if we also have a look at John Goff is slowly recapturing his Dortmund form. He is a club legend at Dortmund for a reason. Look at these average ratings he got during his time at Dortmund. 7.64, 7.71, 7.6. I mean, it's ridiculous. But he is now averaging a 7.55 this season. I mean, his averages haven't been bad since he's been with home. But he is back at a Dortmund average. And if you take his Champions League performances into account as well, he's currently averaging a 7.83 in all competitions with 8 goals from 9 starts, 6 assists in that time as well. John Goff is in the form of his life. Mira is also playing very, very well. Both Alif and Kandemir are in excellent form. We've just got a lot of players playing very well at the same time. I mean, look, there's Mira as an example as well. Form of his life. It's a wonderful time to be a home fan, and this is the team we're putting out there for the Chelsea game. We've got Powell in goal. We've got a little bit of a problem with our goalkeepers again. It's the same problem we had with Saidi and Powell, in that they're kind of the same. I mean, which one's better? According to star ratings, Powell's a little bit better, but as you all say, Kev, they've only got judging ability of 7. I mean, I could go through lots of different ones, and they all kind of agree that Powell is the better of the two, but sometimes not by a lot. And yeah, so maybe Powell is slightly better than Beckett still, but they both want to leave because neither of them are getting enough football. When I watch them play, Beckett looks better, but apparently Powell is better. So Powell's back in today because he's moaned most recently. So Powell in goal, a back four of Alif, Beron, Lee and Meyer, Zupancic and Cristiano in midfield, and then Mira, Costa and Goff behind Thor up front. We certainly are having spaces open up for Augusto, as I mentioned before as well. Both Cirillo and Young injured, so that means Mira's playing on the left wing. Augusto is basically first reserve in both of those positions at the moment, so he's also going to be getting plenty of game time and is finally match fit as well. So hopefully we're going to start to see what all the fuss is about with him. But let's submit this team, hopefully go and give Chelsea a thumping, and then do the same again against Fenerbahce in the Champions League. It would be very pleasant to have an episode of 2 reasonably big games where we play really well in both of them. I just turned my fan on because it was hot, but my word, that is louder than it usually is. That's been on during videos all summer, but I turned it off because it seemed really loud today. I think my fan's broken. At least it's broken in September, I guess. I now need to get a new heater again. Right, focus on the football, Kev. Come on now. So Cristiano is running the wrong way, but eventually found Zupancic, who finds Mira and Goff. I mean, we've got total football going on here, boys and girls. Why is Mira in the middle, Goff on the left, Thor on the right? I'm not telling them to do that, but they're so good. The three of them are just sort of swapping around as they see fit, it seems, which I'd quite like there to be an instruction that tells them to do that. I know there's the instruction where you can tell two players to swap, which I've been tempted to do with Mira and Thor and just have them swapping places during matches. But if I could tell Mira, Thor and Goff to all kind of interchange at will, my word, would that be a devastating front three. And there's Mira with his 7th goal of the season. He's a bit upset he didn't get the individual love that Thor and Goff got at the start of the episode. But I mean, all three of them scoring at pretty much a goal a game. Certainly if you look at just starts rather than appearances off the bench, I think they're all three of them roughly at a goal per start this season, which is ridiculous when you think about it. We're 11 games into the season and our 3 attacking players are basically guaranteeing us 3 goals a match because they're all scoring at a goal a game. And it obviously doesn't work out quite like that because they get hat-tricks here and there and they don't all play every game. But with all 3 of them on the pitch, like they are today, theoretically, on average, we've got a 3-goal head start over Chelsea, which that's awesome. I like living in that world. A shot from range from Chelsea. Hopefully that's all we're going to limit them to. They're having a particularly poor start to the season, actually. They're down in 14th place, only just maintaining the Kev ratio at the moment. So clearly Chelsea are having a transitional period. How sickening must it be as a Chelsea fan as well to be going through a transitional season for yourself, which they happen from time to time. But as a Chelsea fan, does it have to happen the year Fulham are having a resurgence and are up in a Champions League spot? 2 matches ago, Fulham were top of the league, but they've drifted down a little bit, but they're very much up there in the Champions League reckoning at the moment. Obviously, they're the biggest team in West London. Mira now... Oh, it's Thor, in fact. I thought Mira had got his 2nd, but it's Thor with his usual goal. 12th goal of the season for him. And then presumably John Goff weighs in with a goal in a minute. So we're only 16 minutes into the match, and both Thor and Mira have already scored. Can you believe this time last year I was complaining about the 2 of them not scoring goals? It can only be... I mean, okay, it can't only be the switch to complete forward. Obviously, that's had a big impact on it. But I think also they're obviously both a little bit older. Everyone around them is a little bit older. It was a very young team before. Now it's a team that's gone to the Champions League final, is a bit more experienced. They've all got a little bit better. Even someone like Goff at age 29, absolutely in his prime now. Mira now in again. And this is just sensational to watch. 14 shots in the first 20 minutes, 72% possession for home against Chelsea. It's not as if we're playing against Wrexham. This is against Chelsea. We are completely dominating and destroying them. We should really be more than 2 goals up based on how well we've played in this first half hour. Zupancic plays it forward to Thor. Back to Mira. Goff is hovering. He wants his usual goal as well. Maya to Costa. Goff... I thought he was going to shoot from range on his weak foot. This is a bit of a worry. Chelsea with a breakaway and they've got a goal back. This is what we need to be aware of. Let's not get too big for our boots because they're still Chelsea. They might be having a poor season, but they've obviously still got a lot of good individual players because they have a lot of money to throw around. So they are a destination resort for wonder kids and world-class players. It's just, I guess, whoever their current manager isn't getting the best out of them right now. But they are going to have individuals who can do that to us. So we need to be a little bit aware of that. And hopefully Goff will get his goal in the second half. With all these shenanigans going on as well, Flager is having the most quiet season of his career so far. Partly because he's not getting as many games because Goff's playing so well. But even when Flager is playing, I think he's only got 1 goal so far this season, which is unheard of for Flager since he's been at home. Zupancic now finds Mira. Mira to Zupancic, out to Aleph, crossing position. There's John Goff. There's his goal. 9th for the season for him. And like I said at the start of the match, with the 3 of these in the form that they're in, we get a 3-goal head start. And by half time, wouldn't you know, all 3 of them have scored. It's a lovely cross from Aleph. And I think that is one of the reasons why Goff is scoring so many goals this season, because Aleph is a step above Candemil, and it pains me to say, because I love Sebastian Candemil. I think he was the first truly world-class player we got at home. And he's still only 27, 28, so he's still obviously a world-class player. But I think we've gone from world-class left-back to best left-back in the world, best left-back of his generation in the shape of Aleph. And he is creating some goals for Goff this season, and John Goff is having a lovely time as a result of it. Costa now to Zupancic. Who's going to score the next one? Mira to Zupancic to Goff. Look, it's total football. They're just interchanging. I'm not telling them to do that. I may as well not be here. Goff again with a chance from an Aleph cross, and it goes just wide. I don't want to make changes in this game because we're playing so well. I just want to let them carry on doing it. Part of me thinks, John Goff's 29. Let's just make him player manager at this point. And, I mean, just let him make the decisions, because that's surely where Holme are going. At this point, I'm thinking when I eventually retire, and I am 58 in game now, so there is a retirement coming. Probably my retirement as a manager will be at roughly the same time as John Goff's retirement as a player. He's the one who's old enough and experienced enough and enough of a big name. I'm earmarking John Goff. If I get to pick my successor at this stage, John Goff, surely. World Cup winner. Who else would you want taking over as manager of Holme? I know you'd all want Simic Powell, but he's full retired. He's not an option. Right, let's have a look at fitness levels, because we have got the Fenerbahce game going. Aleph is tired, so we'll take him off for now. Who else? I guess Augusto is a player who could probably come on in a game like this. We've dominated. Let's give him another 10 minutes just running about and getting match fitness into him. So Carlos Augusto comes on up front for the final 10 minutes. It is going to ruin his goal per game average that I keep giving him little 10 and 20 minute bursts, but quite frankly, what else do you expect me to do with him? Have you seen how our front three are playing? How do we fit Augusto into that as a starter? We don't at the moment. I wonder if that's what's made them all up their game. The fact they've got one of the top wonder kids in the world has just appeared, made his Brazil debut aged 18. You don't get many of them, and when you do, they end up being the best player in the world after a while. Mira grabs his 8th goal of the season, and he's turned into a very good player, hasn't he, this season? Bearing in mind, that's 8 goals this season from Mira. I think he's maybe played once as a striker. This is 8 goals from the left wing. He's turned into a proper inside forward on that left-hand side, to the point where part of me does think we do need to be moving Cirillo on. We're certainly not missing him while he's injured. And I think Ben Young is probably going to be a backup to Cirillo, a backup to Mira on the left. And Augusto is our backup to Thor up front at this point, probably. We're turning into the same problem with Holme that I had with England. We've got too many strikers. Too many really good strikers. And they're better than players in other positions, so they're starting to play there. Have we won this penalty? I assumed we were getting a penalty there and Mira was going to finish off his hat-trick. But apparently not the case. Chelsea now, bless them, they're going for another little attack. They have scored, to be fair. But obviously they're not winning this game. They're not even getting back into this game. But we probably shouldn't have conceded 2 goals. Based on how well we've dominated the match, we shouldn't really be conceding 2 goals in it. But I won't complain too much. Candemil with the poor headed clearance and Powell with the poor attempt at a save. They're 2 players whose I am questioning whether they should be in the team anymore. You've heard me question them both in this episode, and they've combined to give Chelsea a soft goal there. Candemil now plays it forward to Goff. Goff with the flick on that actually ended up looking like a shot, I think. I wonder if that was registered as a shot. You could probably rewind the video slightly and see if it registered as a shot. I think it was just a flick on that the goalkeeper collected. Is Mendes playing deep, of course, today, because he's going to have to learn to play there eventually with Drame ahead of him. And Chelsea are going to get a third here. Oy, oy, oy. We do need to be a little bit careful. Are we getting a final whistle at some point? What's this all about? Are we whistling? Can we have some whistling in the chat, please? Chat with it. You ain't streaming, Kev. I know you like streaming. By the way, probably will be streaming. Oh, actually, probably. I don't know when I'm recording this. I probably streamed last night. I'm not going to be streaming tonight, but if you're not following me on Twitch, twitch.tv/LOLLUJO FM, I am streaming a bit more regularly again. But we've just thumped Chelsea, and let's go and hopefully do the same to Fenerbahce. What a fun episode. This is one I've not seen before. Thomas Slomer broken his back. okay, lower back stress fracture, but still broke. The word fracture and back are in there. He's broken his back, moving some furniture at home. Just going to call him into my office and remind him that I'm paying him £62,000 a week. Pay someone else to move your furniture, you buffoon. He's lost his 5-star potential as well. Where's his 5-star potential gone? Sloma's done a reverse Mick Powell. Bogarski, still 5-star potential. He's my new favourite in midfield. Sloma, buffoon. And his potential's gone. Reverse Mick Powell. No changes for the Fenerbahce game then, because we were quite good in the last game. I know I'm supposed to rotate, but I'm just really enjoying watching these 11 players play together at the moment. So for as long as they continue to play as well as they are, how can I possibly fiddle with that? Plus, if we win this game, we qualify for the knockout rounds of the Champions League, so we can use the last couple of games to mess around and try different players. Unfortunately, can't use Augusto in this competition because he wasn't registered in time, but we will be able to add him into our squad for the knockout rounds, which would be delightful. So we don't actually have a striker on the bench because of Young's injury and Augusto not being available. So if we do have to take 4 off, I guess Mira could go up front. We have options. We'll be all right. Diarra's picked up an injury as well now, I think. I got a notification through about him. They're dropping like flies, these players. Diarra was actually injured in training rather than move in his sideboard. But still, Goff now. Obviously, we're still owed our guaranteed 3 goals from the front 3. So hopefully we get them in reasonably quick order. Interestingly, Lazio seem to be the team that might be joining us in the knockout rounds ahead of Porto. The media were convinced it was going to be Porto. Aleph looking to line up a shot from range. That would have guaranteed at least 4 goals if someone else had scored one. Zupancic now, across to Cristiano. Now Costa. Costa's not really scored a lot of goals yet this season, presumably because he's been too busy pulling the strings and letting the other 3 just do their thing in front of him. So I'm not gonna complain too much about that. Beron now looking to get things going from the back, finds Aleph, ball forward to Thor. What a pass, what a goal. I tell you what, I said I don't know what's changed this season to make us score so many goals and look so good going forward. I do know what's changed, and he has the number 3 on his shirt. Look at the state of this. Look at that. What a pass. Thor with a lovely finish. Mark Aleph, though. Homegrown player as well. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that our policy that we put in place, 5-6 years ago now, is really starting to show some excellent players coming through. And Aleph is I think, the pick of the bunch. He's just really very, very good. And we picked him up for an absolute steal when he was 18. I think, in fact, I need to have a look in a second. When I can, I'll have a look to see how much Aleph was. I know you all like to tell me how much I've overspent on players. There's Goff's goal. So we've got Thor and Goff both scored again. 10th of the season for Goff. Zupancic picking up the assist this time. Zupancic is an example of one that you all told me I overspent on, spending 93 million on him. But he's blossomed into one of the best midfielders in the world, and he's still only 26. But Aleph cost us £4.7 million. Less than 5 million quid for a player as good as he is. I'll call that a lovely piece of business. For every player you think I've overspent on, that 50-odd million pounds we spent on Saidi, the average price between Saidi and Aleph was 55 million. So it's still a bargain for Aleph, and we sold Saidi on for roughly that. So there you go. Saidi wasn't a waste of money anymore. The one thing about Aleph is he is tired from playing all his football. He's one who does need a bit of rotation, and I guess having Candamill as the backup to come in for him is not a bad thing at all. There you go. Just tell them to not let performances drop. I'm still waiting for Mira's goal. I'd hate to think that these goal a game averages are going to start dropping. We might take Thor off relatively soon and stick Mira up front and just just to give Thor a bit of a rest, really. He's played a lot of football, and what we don't want to do when we're in the kind of form that we're in with these players playing so well is we don't want to risk breaking them. Goff's another one. We've got Flager sat down there on the bench. It would be silly in the circumstances for Goff to play 90 minutes in a game like this, especially because he's an old man now. Costa now with the corner. Thor rattles the crossbar. And it would have been lovely to see Mira just turn in the rebound, but we go again with a corner from the other side. Goff with the in-swinger. Thor, this time, rattling the post, I think, or it might have been the side netting. But either way, goodness me, is Thor an aerial threat? And that's the other thing I love about this front three as well. I think Thor's 6'3", Goff's 6'4", Mira's 6 foot tall. They're not just good, they're enormous as well. It's brilliant. Zupancic makes it 3. We're still waiting for Mira's goal, but Zupancic doesn't want to be outdone. That's his 4th goal of the season. Right, let's look at a couple of early changes. I think Aleph for Candemill is an obvious one. Maybe that is the only one that needs to be made at this stage. I am thinking. I mean, I'm looking at the other old men. Or the old men. So I guess Baron is getting on a bit. 28 as an old man. It is in this team. But Goff and Costa, I think, are both 30 now. So they're Costa is 29. So let's bring Drame on for him. Drame and Mendes really need to be stepping up and becoming first team regulars in the next year or two, really, because we don't want to have to go out and buy another attacking midfielder, but we do need at least one of them to become a world-class player to replace the world-class player who's getting on a bit, who's in possession at the moment. I just have to go back and get Manu again, who, by the way, played against us recently. Manu's on a season-long loan at Leicester from Real Madrid. Leicester, who are still chasing Mira as well. Obviously not going to get him. Right, Mira is tired. We'll just have to accept he's not going to get his goal today and try something you've all been telling me to try for goodness knows how long. Flager is an inside forward on the left-hand side. Let's see what he looks like out there. I don't know if Flager and Goff, I was going to say not been on the pitch together before, but of course they have. Goff used to drop down to right back to let Flager on, but Goff has just got his 11th goal of the season. He's a midfield player. And it's November, and he's already scored 11 goals. This is John Goff's push to become a legend at home as well. He's already a legend at one club, based on incredible form. Can he become legendary at 2 different clubs? Candemill now looking for another cross. Goff's there again, finds Drame. Drame's shot ends up out wide with Mayer, who crosses it back in. Look at Thor chasing that down. Look at that from Thor. That was incredible. This is a man who's already scored today. He's scoring goals for fun. We're 4-0 up, and he's still chasing down like that. I love Thor. What a player. Lee now heads forward. Look at the state of those stats, by the way. 33 shots today again. We're just a good football team. We're 11-0 up on aggregate against Fenerbahce at this point. Flager now cutting inside from the left wing. Could this be something we start to see a little bit more of? That was sensational from Flager, but he hits the post and Goff completes his hat-trick. Goal number 12 of the season for John Goff. All the credit here has to go to Flager. Can he play as an inside forward on the left-hand side? I think he just answered the question there with this run. And he's unlucky not to score himself, but we need to get him training as an inside forward immediately. He should have been for the last 2 years, I know. He's going to now. Interestingly, my assistant manager keeps changing Mira from inside forward training to Raumdeuter training. So we might start experimenting with Mira as a Raumdeuter. I'm loath to at the moment because he's playing so well as an inside forward, but if he's training as a Raumdeuter, maybe that's what he should be doing. It's 6-0 now. Zupancic has his 2nd of the game. An assist for Goff. Goff must be closing in on a 10 out of 10 performance here, surely. You don't get them very often. But a hat-trick plus an assist plus a dominant win. He's got to be on a 10 at this point, hasn't he? Let's have a little look at him. He is on a 9.7. Zupancic closing him down on a 9.5. We could make it 7-0 away from home as well. We beat them 7-0 at home, and here's Flager again. Flick on to Thor. Thor plays it out to Candemill, who, I mean, he's playing for a place. Zupancic, cross to Goff. Goff's got his 4th of the match. Surely now it's a 10 out of 10 day for John Goff. 13th goal of the season. I don't understand where this version of John Goff has been for the last 2 years, but we've finally got the player we knew from Dortmund and England. He's turned up in a home shirt and, oh, it's a lot of fun. 9.9, 9.8. What does that man have to do to get a 10? This is the perfect game of football from John Goff. Grab another one. Go and grab number 5. Let's get him to 10 out of 10. Thor still chasing down the back four. Thor and four. Got to stop saying those two words together. What a match. What a result. John Goff is probably the Champions League top scorer at this point because he's scored... Did he get a hat-trick against them in the first game? I need to look at the Champions League. So, top scorers in the competition must be John Goff. 8 goals in the Champions League so far this season from Goff. He's the top scorer and the best player. He currently has, in the Champions League, 8 goals from 4 starts, 5 from 7 starts in the Premier League, 13 goals from 11 starts in all competitions. What a lovely, lovely image that is to close out the episode. We've qualified for the knockout rounds of the Champions League as well. We will still show Porto away in the next episode because we've also got our rivals clash against... Actually, you know what? Should we just do Arsenal and Man United? Because Arsenal are our big rivals, Man United are our title rivals. We'll forget the Champions League now until the knockout round. So we'll do Arsenal and Man United in tomorrow's video. I think that's probably a better plan. Unless you really, really want to see Porto as well, but that'll be the reserves. They're the 2 big games. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.